Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Midweek Report. I'm Nick, over on the editing side, and co-host is, of course, always Justin. And today, we have an interesting one.
Yes.
We have Warframe, cutting right to the dark meat.
Yes.
Warframe last weekend, as of this recording, had their annual TennoCon, which is basically a massive convention where, it's basically all about their game, which is specifically Warframe at the moment. And you play as Tenno in the game. That's the name of the protagonist species, and so that's the name TennoCon, and da-da-da-da-da, and, play on words, and all that fun stuff. So anyways,
Yes.
they do it as a chance to reveal what comes out in the game, and new expansions, and stuff like that. And, well, they did come it's for the last few years it's been purely digital, because, the C word, which I can't say on YouTube unless I fear of us getting demonetized.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's become a dirty word. It's like I say it, and it's like, how dare you? I know there are people still living in denial that it's not a thing, and so if I say the word, it offends them on a personal level.
Yes. Also, I find it interesting how you keep thinking we're going to get demonetized. Meanwhile, we're not even monetized.
I can hope, right?
One day. But right now, no.
One day.
Like,
No.
As of right
like,
now...
comment, subscribe, and maybe.
As of right now, no.
If enough people subscribe, then
Perhaps. If you do enjoy the content, maybe subscribe. Keep yourself up to
Self-serving
date.
nature aside, but let's, you're staring at a blank screen, so let's entertain this a little. So, we're going to first, before we talk into it, gameplay is going to be us playing Destiny 2, The Witch Queen. We actually just came from a stream, or I should say
Video.
Recording.
Video. Difference.
Video. The difference in the video.
Yes.
We just came from another recording.
If you are watching next week, so the 27th and the 23rd's video, that was all recorded the very same day as this stream is being live casted and /video be posted today.
Yep.
We did that pretty much a couple minutes ago, and it's all being done all at once.
Yep, and for those who don't know, reminder for those who haven't seen the last video, dear editor Justin is going away for reasons of personalness over the next 2 weeks.
It's mainly a family trip, but yeah, sure, that works.
Okay, fine. Yeah, he's going away for a family trip, so he won't be around for 2 weeks for the videos. And like I said, he's the editor, so
yeah,
kind of hard to make videos without him.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go and do a live stream when I'm the source of the stream and all that. So, there's that. So, as of right now, we're just going and running in the Witch Queen campaign. We're doing the legendary version, and we're just going to talk about TennoCon and Warframe.
Yep, there was a lot of things that came out of this year's TennoCon. From the newest frame that is coming out, which is going to be the 50th frame in the game. And for the newest 50th frame, they're actually going to do a little bit of an animation revolving around it. I think it's going to be I think they said a several minute and long animation revolving around it. That's actually going to come alongside it. Again, also because it's the 50th frame ever made in the game, so it's going to be special. It looks to be Greek soldier inspired, like legionary. Funny enough that we're fighting the Cabal as I say this, because Bungie, the guys who made Destiny, basically called the Cabal basically the Roman Legion in space, so, there's that.
Yes.
I don't know, I feel like there's a connection there.
There is.
Worth mentioning. Ugh, my frames. But anyways. But there are also other things. And we'll get to the more interesting bits first. But first, let's go over the lighter points. Veilbreaker. So, for those who don't know, the last big reveal, or last big expansion for Warframe, was of course the New War. And that came with the ability to play with several other characters other than yourself for a few missions. One of them being Call. I'll spare you the details of who Call is as a character, but safe to say he clicked with fans. And his
he was that same guy that we saw in that one little gameplay trailer thing of what looked to be a foot soldier running around. And now you play as him all the time almost, right? Well, you can play as him.
Nah, he was just kind of in the mission, and no one really knew his fate outside of the mission, because here's the thing. For the mission, there's moments where you'll play as... Ow.
Yep.
There's moments where you'll play early on in the new war as 3 other characters, one being one for each of the 3 main two main factions of the game. The other third is the Infestation, which is basically equivalent of Warframe's Flood, which that you can't play as that because
The
be a
Flood.
little awkward.
No, you
But
play the Flood.
And you got one for the Corpus. Call was the one for the Grenier. And, he clicked with fans. His little section of the game being kind of jokingly referred to as Call of Duty. But anyways.
Yes.
And so he's getting a little... It seems like he'll be coming back. Because like I said, his fate has more or less him and the other character that you can play as well as Teshin, another character you play as, has all been left up to kind of fate. We don't know what happens to them. Teshin is kind of alluded to have died, but he's not, and then, that has to do with the next expansion, that being Diviri Paradox, but we'll get into that. As for Call and... I can't remember the... I laugh when I try to mention this next name, because the running joke in the actual... mission, right, is that the character I'm about to mention, no one can remember their name. And as I'm trying to remember their name, I cannot remember their name, so...
Yes.
Maybe there's a point to that, but anyways. Viso, that's his name. Him and Viso, no one knows what happened to them. So, but it's hinted that Call survived, and in Veilbreaker it looks like he'll be coming back, and that entire expansion may revolve around him and you playing specifically as him. So who knows? Maybe the ability to come back as other characters will come back. We also see the kind of wrapping up of a conclusion to a character that kind of had an unsatisfactory end by the end of the mission. That being a character named Era, who just kind of is also kind of hinted to have died off unceremoniously, but kind of not, because it's kind of like movie logic. If they don't immediately, or if they don't die officially on screen, they may still be alive. Movie logic. And Era's death was kind of unsatisfactory, so we'll see him make a return in this new mission as well. Again, mission named Veilbreaker, and we'll see, like I said, Call return. So jokes have already been circling around online of Call of Duty 2. But
yeah. Wrath of Call.
Call of Duty 2, the Wrath of Call. But yeah, so he'll be coming back for Veilbreaker. That is to be coming before the next big expansion, which is Diviri Paradox, which apparently is going to come winter this year, and that's Diviri. So Veilbreaker will probably be coming out in the next 2-3 months, maybe? I don't know, I'm just guesstimating. But since they have said Diviri will come out in winter, probably in November or December this year, I'm just going to guess that October, maybe... Oh, now you died.
Yep. I tried to take out as much damage on the guy as I could.
Here, I'm going to use this.
There we go. Yep.
and get blown up for it. This is what shows you when you help.
Oh god, I hate this ship. The ships that spawn in this level are pretty darn strong.
Honestly. Can you imagine doing this solo? I can, because I did it.
I have done it solo.
I've
done at least three of the missions completely on my own. I started the first but never finished it because
there you go.
I have things to do. Well, no, it wasn't a pain. I'm like, I have things to do and I don't feel like playing right now.
Yeah, no, it is a commitment having to do the legendary versions, which I can say because having done all but the last 2, it is I can say for experience it's a pain in the ass to do. But anyways,
yes.
Back to Warframe. And I'm kind of glossing over some bits here because there's a lot to actually cover. So, as for, like I said, Diviri, that was kind of the major thing that people were wanting to hear about. Actually, no. Before I mention Diviri, I should mention something else that's not an expansion, but a highly requested feature that went in the game that was revealed last TennoCon and has kind of gone silent since then, though we have known they're working on it. And that is cross-play and cross-save, as well as a mobile version of the game. For those who don't know, Warframe is, well, it's an old game, at least by gaming standards. It's a game that came out, I think, around the boom of the MMO craze, at least around 2.12 to
around then, yeah.
Actually, let me check actually once I have a second.
I don't know exactly. Yeah, no, you're good. I don't know exactly when. Let me give you an exact
number,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Hold, please. came out in 2.13 officially. And that was originally on PC. The game has grown massively since then in both popularity, scope, scale, and ambition, as well as content. But I didn't even know until, like, I think last season, or even this season, I think, that you can actually smack things with a hammer.
Oh, what? Well, it's not a hammer, it's a wrench.
Well, it's a wrench, but it kind of...
But, yeah, no, I learned that, like, literally day one of Witch Queen was, hey, can I smack something with this? I can. I can whack with wrench. I am the engineer.
I am the engineer now.
Engineer is an engineer.
Practical fucking problems. But, anyways, for those who don't know, TF2 reference, but anyways.
Yes.
If you didn't know. But, yeah, no. A highly requested feature is crossplay and cross-save. So it's an old game that, like I said, has grown massively since its release back then, to the point where it is now on every major console that you can imagine, from the PlayStations to the Xboxes to nowadays even the Switch. So, that being the case, they said, hey, we've got a bunch of games, and since crossplay cross-save is a highly requested thing in the community nowadays, why don't we put that in? That way you can play on multiple platforms and multiple accounts, because for those who don't know, as an avid avid Warframe player myself, I can tell you it is very, very grindy when it comes to something. Some frames can take you days, or sometimes years. Like, it's RNG based in case when you get some frame parts. And just building a frame alone, like the actual process, takes 72, or like, let's see, 24, 46, yeah, 72 hours in real world time to build one frame. So it is a massive time investment if you really go to the process of, like, you know, actually getting into the game. And the massive mod systems and everything. Long story short, it's a massive time investment that if you had to restart over on another account, which some people have done, you know, it's a massive thing, right? So crossplay and cross-save feel like a natural thing. So if you want to play on another account, like for example, linking this back to Destiny, I originally played back on PlayStation for Destiny. That's where I started off. But when they introduced crossplay and cross-save, I can now play with people like Justin who play on PC.
Well, no, you can, well, yeah, like they introduced the crossplay, which means that you can play while playing on your PlayStation, which is what we do most of the time. But in cases like this, you're able to go on Discord and play on PC at the same time.
Yeah. So it's very helpful for those who have friends on other platforms, as well as the fact that, especially like I said in Warframe, where it's a massive time investment, a really massive time investment to restart doing it over and over again from another account, if you choose to start on another platform. And plus, there's a lot of cosmetics too that are time limited and hard to get. And da 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 da. It's you know. It's
did we fall together?
No, you fell, and then I kind of went
okay, I thought we fell together, and that's why I died, because I've jumped down that and not died, so I'm like, I'm not going to die.
I just looked down and I saw you just die on impact. I'm like, okay, I gotta go get him now.
It's like, I've fallen higher heights than that and not died. What is this?
You snapped your
What is this gravity pushing? Last I checked, Mars has less gravity than Earth.
You snapped your ankle and died of blood loss. Let's call it that.
Yeah. I twisted my ankle and died.
Yeah, death by broken ankle, but anyways, like I said, it's a massive investment. Oh shit. I walked right into that cannon. If we lose this round, it's my fault, but
oh, I got you.
But yeah, and another thing, so they're like, okay, it's on all platforms, but another thing is they're also going to try and make a PC version. You're probably wondering, how the hell are they going to make a PC version? Well, again, there's a whole reason as to how Warframe lends itself very well to PC, unlike most other online games, due to the fact that it's procedurally generated for one, and the maps are pretty closed in and confined, so it doesn't have to render as much. Long story short, it lends itself very well to things like phones, which have limited memory, right? So anyways, they revealed all this stuff at last TennoCon, but they've, other than being like, yeah, we're working on it, they haven't really talked much about it. So at this TennoCon, they basically pushed it up to the front of the docket, they said, and talked about it first, but they were going to talk about it later. They said, don't worry, it's coming. We're still working on it. In fact, they revealed that as far as the mobile version is concerned, they've got a opt-in, friends and family test thing going on for the mobile version to get it ready. And as for crossplay and cross-save, they said, well, they're still doing it, don't worry. They made a joke where it's like, yeah, no, crossplay's canceled. You're done.
You're done.
Can't do it.
Not allowed.
Not allowed anymore.
Yeah, get out. Get out.
But, yeah, they said they're gonna do, instead of, like, for example, what Bungie did, where they're like, we're gonna do crossplay and cross-save at the same time. Since there's, like I said, a lot of systems and a lot of things in Warframe, a lot of which have to do with real-world time, and the systems are not synced up, they are going to do cross-play first, and get the system synced. And then they're going to, a little bit later,
so they're gonna try to set up a means to make sure all the systems are synced up together and all the servers are together when it comes to syncing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they even said that they want to make sure that they get this done right the first time. They're going to take a little bit of time to do it because of that. Because, the last thing you want is...
Don't go in, don't go in.
I'm going to see if I can do that, at least.
There you go.
Rid of some of them.
Okay. Well, that's cleared up, but watch for the gunner.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go to the gunner. He's got a good shot on me if I do.
No.
But, basically, their logic is we want to do this right because we don't want to rush this out the door and screw it up.
Okay, go in now. Go in now while you can. Yeah, go in. You got a few seconds.
Oh no, I don't have any revive tokens.
Oh, we died too many times.
I died too many times. You just died once.
All right, we do this again.
I think only one of us can die then. Whoops. Oh well, I get it back then.
All right.
Actually, probably should have used Nova Bomb. Ah, well, whatever.
Doesn't matter. All right, so I'm gonna wait for a pile of them to pile up over here, and I'm gonna try to take them all out.
I can do this then. Actually, save your thing for the boss. I can do this.
Okay, well let me at least boost you with this. Where are you?
I'm right here. I've already got Radiant though, so you're fine.
Yeah, for the moment. Don't have it forever. All right, you got Radiant.
Yeah, no,
Go. You've been radiized.
You've been radiized. You have been ascended. But yeah, they're like, we want to get this done right because Jesus Christ, he cuts down fast.
Yeah, that one's pretty strong.
But yeah, they're like, we want to get this done right because we don't want this to be like, oh yeah, your account is lost, go rushed in the shuffle, someone's account gets messed up and then gets lost in the shuffle because like I said, it's a lot of time to grind back.
Okay, move quick.
Yep.
Move quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna run.
Are you shooting there? We're good for a moment. Shooting there.
Yeah, no. If we reset one more time, possibly. If we have to.
No, I think we don't have any.
But...
No, I don't think we have any more revives.
No, I mean if we reset, because if all else fails, I will switch to Void.
I don't know how I did this on my own on my first try.
Neither do I. I think it took a long time.
Like I literally did this on my first run. Like at least this part, like I did it on my first run. When I got to the night, I died at least once, and I'm like,
Weird. That was the easiest part I found for me. But whatever.
Well, I mean, I died because I got careless. He suppressed grenade me at like the worst time.
Oh.
So, like that's the thing. The knights are pretty crazy when it comes to suppression grenades.
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, so yeah, they want to get done right so no one's account gets deleted in a shuffle. So yeah, it's coming. They're working on it. But now that that's out of the way, on to Deviri. And if I'm kind of rushing through this, is because there's actually a lot of content to cover, and I don't want to get bogged down too much on one topic. They showed off Deviri and a little bit of backstory on Deviri. Deviri has kind of become a running joke in the Warframe community, or at least it was for a little bit. Because here's the thing: they originally showed it off in TennoCon back in 2019 before Corona. Whoops! I almost said it. The C word I cannot talk about on YouTube.
Viral infection. That you can say, because there's thousands.
But yeah, they originally showed it off in 2019 before the whole business. with the pandemic. That I can say. At least I think I can.
Yes.
And everyone's like, yay, new update, looks really cool, da 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 da. And then it just kind of vanished. A bunch of story content happened, da 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 da. But they kind of, like, you know, they kind of put Devere in the back burner. And anytime anyone kind of talked about it, they're like, oh yeah, no, we're focusing on other things at the moment. So after a bunch of story updates and a bunch of everything else, they were like, okay, we're finally gonna get time to get around to Devere. With new story to talk about and everything else. Nah.
There we go.
That worked.
He's almost dead. He's almost dead. Get him. Get him.
Get him. Get his ass.
Finish him. Be free.
Get me to that console. I'll activate the lift.
So, what kind of
I didn't even
things?
show this thing turns on. But so anyways, yeah, they revealed Devere and they're like, okay, it's happening sometime this year in winter. And they showed off a bunch of new stuff. You know, whole bits about the game world changing every time you play through differently, kind of like the whole procedural generation bit, but instead of the map changing, it'll be, I think, every time you play, you'll get a chance to make like a decree or something, which will impact your playthrough that time. Like, for example, I'll decree that my damage does twice its actual amount. That'll happen. Or I decree I can summon my mount anywhere I want to, and that'll happen. And that'll impact you for that entire single play session till you know, do another play session.
I saw marching orders from Kaito. She wants to retain
So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Not sure how it'll play out, but we'll see. Interesting bit of story involving multiverses and time and da-da-da-da. The Warframe universe can be complicated at times.
All right, the cannon is aligning. Time to reload.
But like I said, I can't really go into too much without basically having to explain the entirety of the new war
I'll stand
and the story of Warframe, which also is convoluted in its own right, because unlike Destiny, where everything is either spelled out or given to you in lore tabs, Warframe is kind of like Dark Souls, but worse, in that the lore was retroactively added in a few years later,
I'm hoping for the latter, but I wouldn't bet on it.
as well as the fact that, you know, sometimes things are being like, is it this, is it that, you know. There's no explicit piece to rely on, you know. Sometimes you have to pick through item descriptions, other times you have to pick through, you know, character dialogue. There's no real solid explanation sometimes. It's getting better, don't get me wrong, but like I said, I can't get too much into the whole plot of Devere, or at least what we saw, without having to explain that entire plot line, which we'd be sitting here for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
But it does look like they're playing with the idea of color and monochrome, and, you know, your actions might add color to the world in a place that's usually very monochrome. They didn't explain how that'll entirely play out, but it looks like, you know, you interact with statues, which give you save points. They reviewed a massive creature that'll fly around, which they kind of said looks like a dragon. Well, truth be told, it looks more like a giant flying worm, but they kind of agreed to it more of a dragon. Which, interestingly enough, the Orokin, you know, which, for the context, to make a lot of lore explanation simple, you'll at least kind of realize what I'm talking about here when I make this connection, Justin. They're kind of like the forerunners of the Warframe world, except they are much more petty and much more self-obsessed.
Yes.
Which, if you know the forerunners, that says a lot. Which
Forerunners be like, "Are you challenging me, sir?" Well, no. More specifically, the Didact be like, "You challenging
did I die
me?"
There? Oh, moss explosion.
Yes. Did you forget that?
That was embarrassing. I didn't even see the moth because of my freaking, you know, slow frame problem at the moment.
There is this
But
thing.
yeah.
It is called turn down your settings.
That's the thing. I don't even know what's causing it. I've never had this problem before. I don't think it's the settings. That's the thing. I don't know.
Make sure
But
you get the
anyways.
knight. There you go.
Yeah, I'm killing the knight.
There you go. It's like, I don't have any arc weapons. It probably would have been a good idea to run my arc bow, but not a big deal.
Yeah, I probably should switch out to arc. Because I have a few things arc on me.
Yeah, well, we can't now.
Yeah, not in the middle of a fight, but anyways. One of the, you know, in the New War, they kind of explored the idea of one of the Orokin having this almost Egyptian aesthetic, this very pharaohish aesthetic, which, considering how vain and arrogant they are, and considering how the, you know, the Egyptians, for reference, were beings who considered themselves descended from gods, yada yada yada. This time it feels like they're maybe going to play on the whole Chinese emperor play, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Including the idea, like I said, of an entire fire-breathing dragon, or dragon with a cannon on it. Yeah, it's complicated.
Yes.
I'm slowly losing my voice because of all these recordings, so...
What do you mean? We've basically done an hour now. This is basically the normal around. Well, I mean, right now we're at a 26 mark, but like
yeah,
in
my
total
we've
we've
been
done...
very dry because I hadn't had much to drink before the stream, right? And because of all this, I haven't had a chance to get one.
Is that so? You didn't have much of a chance, you say?
Oh, hush. I didn't.
Yes, you did.
If I wanted to keep to the schedule, I didn't. But anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways. So, I'm gonna... Maybe they'll explore a more Chinese-based thing. It's interesting. It's a little complicated, I admit. And again, I can't explain too much of the story plot and stuff like that because, again, if I explain too much of that, I'll have to explain for context what Deviri is and what the Orokin are and da-da-da-da-da, and that'll take me all day.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, if you know what the Orokin are and you know what the plot is, it, you know, exploring the concept of the man in the wall, possibly, the multiverse theory that was introduced in the New War, because it's always been hinted that you can... Oh, for the love of really? Warlocks! Powerful, but oh so fragile.
It's a good thing he has a solar shield because I can easily ripe him up. I can't revive you. I have to... Okay, I gotta run.
That's the last tribute, though. That's why I kind of...
I know. I gotta run. That's why I have 5 seconds. Oh, go, 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 go! It counted! Yes! Brother!
There you go. Brother, you saved me! Brother.
Literally milliseconds!
Now bring my ass back! No.
Get up! I need a medic bag!
I need a medic bag! In fact, instead of the Galahorn, I think I'll run a sleeper.
Yeah, set yourself up
and
now
instead
while you
of
can.
shotgun, I think I will... Yeah, Wizardry Buck, I think I'll run instead. Actually, fuck it, I'll run Nezarec Sin. It's a glaive, but, you know... I feel like
I'll run a healing grenade and help you out.
Says that to the healers.
You're not really
Feels
doing...
inferior.
You're not really doing a good job for yourself in healing. You've helped me in healing, but you haven't really helped yourself. You need something to help
it's kind
you.
of stupid at this point. It's like...
Warlocks
Like
should have the ability to use another grenade and be able to make a healing grenade. Just saying.
I mean, I have my riff, but, you know...
It's not enough.
Hold
And
on,
I'm
that thing
dead.
is-
I got bombarded there. I'm like, I can handle this. No.
Ugh. It's also a case of my frames, too, right?
Your turn.
I'm having so much latency problems that it's like, I'll lag out and then promptly die. I don't know what's causing it. Maybe it's the overload? Maybe it's the GPU, CPU? I don't know. I got this one.
Kill him. Kill him.
Kill him now.
Kill him.
Anyways, so... It's interesting. Like I said, they're exploring the idea of monochrome and color and how that'll impact the world. Interestingly enough, we'll also get our horse mount.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Warframe has introduced a bunch of mounts and a bunch of things. We've got cats, well, no, we can't mount the cats, but we've got cat companions, we've got dog companions, or a form of dog companion.
Mount the cat companion. Why are you going up the harder way?
I can't remember the way to go up, honestly.
You
Oh, there
fool.
it is. Yeah, I see it now.
There you, okay, I was gonna say, it's like I'm jumping down and I'll help you out.
It's been a while since I played this mission, so I couldn't remember off the top of my head for a second.
There you go.
But anyways, so we've got, we've got cat companions, we've got dog companions, or a form of dog and cat companions. We've got, well, both dog and cat companions and forms of them. It's a little weird to explain. Dogs and mutant dogs.
Yes.
We've also got robot companions, and we've got skateboards, we've got giant robots we can walk around in,
Seen anything like it.
and now they're introducing the ability to ride a horse.
What's it doing on Sabbath?
Yes.
So we're finally getting the long-promised horse, which was another thing we actually saw way back in the original Devere reveal. The horse, which everyone was like, "Ooh, we're getting horses!" Finally getting that horse.
Yep.
Not sure how we'll get it, but we're getting it.
Yeah, try to bring them out over here a little more. I'll try to snipe them here. I want to try to take these guys out quickly. Alright, here we go. Oh, just barely. Just barely. I almost had you. I'm like, I got you,
I didn't
homie.
even see the ogre, because the freaking radar.
Oh, yeah, there
disabled, I
is
couldn't see
that.
anything. I got the ogre, I think, if I can get to it. There we
Oh,
go.
you got
By
your
the way.
super?
No, but I got this, which is better. There, he's almost dead.
He wants me. Well, not anymore.
You want that ass.
I took all of them out with me. There we go. And the moth is just kind of going around.
There we go.
There we are.
So anyways, we're getting horses, we're getting the monochrome thing. It'll be interesting to see. It'll probably be playing on the idea of, like I said, multiverse theory, which was also another plot point introduced in the New War. So, bunch of things, which I'm actually really excited to see. And that alongside Veilbreaker, like I said. Interestingly enough, they said that despite the fact that the storyline kind of is, I guess you could say, kind of related to the New War, its events kind of are adjacent to the New War. So when people were like, hey, do we need to play the New War first before we can play this? Because sometimes in Warframe, some quests only unlock if you do certain things. Or
Yeah.
at least certain activities and prerequisite, like say, here, complete this quest before you can do these quests. So like, no, you don't need to. It is a separate thing, which I guess kind of makes sense, because by the looks of the story trailer, the events of the story kind of run adjacent to the New War, or maybe a bit before it. Ow. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
what else do we have to...
You gotta love that moth.
Yeah, them moths are dangerous, man.
Basically the acolyte.
Can I hit it
of-
from here? Can I hit it from here? Wait. There we
Yep.
go, hit it from here.
I have my bow, so I can output damage faster than you can. You think you're so safe?
My grenade also weakens them, so there's
Yes. Be getting all of the boosts.
that. All of the power.
I get damage boosting, you get damage weakening. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Oh, why are our roles reversed?
I'm the debuff expert.
Yep.
Could that be how she did this?
But, yeah. So what else is... Oh, yes! A big... Actually, before I do that, 1 second. I'm going to peace out for a second and get a drink before I cover this next bit, because there's a lot of discussion I'm going to do. 1 second. I'm AFK for one brief second.
All
Hold
right.
on.
I have a drink. Alright. I could start the activity right now. There's nothing stopping me. I could. Yes. Yes.
There we go. Much better. Whew.
There you go.
Hate to do that, but that's the cost of a stream, ladies and gentlemen. Or
Yes.
unrehearsed pre-recorded video.
Is that so?
Yeah. So I say this because, well, there's a big conversation to going in here, because to go into one point, I kind of have to talk about another point first, which is this.
I did the thing.
Did you put a shield? Oh, no.
I-
you put
yeah,
a
I-
shield right behind him. He's like, okay.
You're not safe.
Let me destroy him. Let me destroy him! I don't care. Let me kill it. Guardian logic. I don't care. Let
As
me
I
kill
spam my button to go and kill him.
it. Me too. It's like, I don't care. Kill it. Let me get him. I don't care. That's treason. I need to destroy it then.
Kill him.
That is treason. Get back here. Goodbye. Sentimental fool.
I can't believe this.
Neither can I, but I don't care. I'm getting paid regardless.
We're going back to the Dark Ages. Will Warframe go back to the Dark Ages?
No. There's a point I need to make here, and like I said, there's a reason I took a drink first, because here's the thing. At the end of the stream, it was revealed that Steve Sinclair, the game director for the game, who's been here since the beginning, as well as a few other senior staff, including, I think it's, George something or other, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name because it's barely been pronounced, at least in full. But basically, him and a few of the other team senior members, like I think 3 of them at the very least, are leaving the game. Not the company, mind you, the game.
So they're just not gonna work on the game anymore.
Yeah. The reason being is because they want to go work on another new game that DE is going to make, that they're also going to be heading up. So he's swapping out his role as creative director for this game to go make game director for another game. And that game is called Warframe. Very creative with the naming conventions, you can tell.
Yes.
You know, they kind of even opened it up by saying, you know, Warframe is a game that started as, you know, a pet project for DE that no one would said would work. True story, actually. In fact, I would advise anyone look into the origin story of Warframe. It's quite funny, actually. Every studio they went to, or every publisher at the time that was like, hey, we want to make this game, they were all like, yeah, this will never work. And guess who's laughing now? But anyways. So, yeah, they want to go make this game, and they're like, yeah, this is just like Warframe, it's a project that's going to be inside the studio, yada yada yada, you know, help us out, fans, with making it happen. Respectable, right? So, oh, you're running Thorn Gun, or whatever it is. Or
What?
no, you're holding Healing Grenade, you're holding Healing Grenade.
Yeah.
I forget.
I was gonna be like Thorn. That is the opposite of healing.
Not Thorn, the thing that Thorn turned into, the, what was it, Luminous?
No, I'm not. I'm running Deadman.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I see those and I just keep thinking of the Noble Rounds, despite the fact that no one ever uses them. That's what I keep thinking of when I see those, you know, healing moles.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the reason why they made it the way it is, because nobody uses them.
Yeah, reuse assets. But, anyways. So they're gonna go make that. And they've already made, you know, it's called Soulframe. There's already a website. I tried to actually go on the website, soulframe.ca, when it first released at the Game Awards, or not the Game Awards, oh my gosh, TennoCon. I can't remember why that name escaped me all of a sudden. But I tried to go on the website, it wouldn't load up, probably because of the fact that now everyone was trying to go on it after TennoCon.
Understandable.
So the server probably crashed temporarily. But it's up again. And, you know, you have to solve a little bit of a puzzle to get into it, but... And I won't spoil the surprise of what that puzzle is, mind you. Why can I relic the flag twice? I don't know. I'm not complaining, though. So anyways... They basically have the whole thing after Soulframe, and so now that Steve and some of the senior staff, the highest positions, are leading, and who's leading the game now, you're probably asking. Well, basically Rebecca, who, funny enough, also voices one of the main recurring support character. I guess you could call it a support character in the form of the Lotus
Yes.
for the game, who's been doing it since the beginning. Reason being is that, like I said, originally this was a pet project for DE that they basically made and financed themselves. So to save money on voice acting, they had like basically people in the studio do the voices for the characters. And in the case of Rebecca, she is still doing her role and is quite, I should say, I guess you could say famous in her role, in a way. So, and she was a community manager for a very long time. Now she's taking over as a creative director. And basically the person who kind of was beneath her, you could say, is filling in her role now. Which has kind of been the way it is for a little bit now. They actually revealed that she's actually been secretly leading Warframe for the last few months, I think like 6 months or so. In secret. But they wanted to reveal it now because for the sake of, you know, letting the community know and stuff like that. For the sake of transparency. So it's not like she has no experience. And like I said, she's been on the game from the beginning. So, you know, I trust her judgment, at least I do.
Yeah.
Because she's been here since the beginning along like Steve. So, all the babbling about Soulframe aside, there's a big question a lot of people are asking in the Warframe community. What does this mean for the game? And this is a multifaceted question. What does it mean for the game, the fact that Steve is leaving? What does it mean for the fact that, you know, what does it mean? Mostly it has to do with the, now that Soulframe is a thing, what will become of Warframe, right? Some people are bouncing around the idea that Warframe might get canned in the end. Some people, if the game takes off. Some people are saying that the game might get put on the back burner. And Soulframe's development takes priority. You know, what will happen?
Yeah.
And this is something I actually mulled over myself for quite a while.
It's her.
I'm gonna just turn down the volume because at this point it's useless anyway. I don't have radar, so I can't exactly use it to hear anyone. Actually, I can't hear you either. That's a problem.
Yeah, you kind of need to hear me.
I forgot. It's not. That's the master volume, not the actual game volume, and I'd have to queue out of the game for control to do that. And yeah, I don't want to do that because I might end up crashing the game. At least for whatever reason, Control Z. We were actually talking about this before the stream. It doesn't play well with my computer for some reason. When specifically Destiny. When I tried to Control Z out of Destiny, sometimes it works. Sometimes the game ends up crashing and I have to restart. Which, yeah, that's a pain. But anywho.
Yep. Don't worry about it.
Question at hand.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. What will become of Warframe now that Soulframe takes off? What if Soulframe takes off, I should say. Well, it's like I said, it's obviously an end of an era because they're changing leadership somewhat, like I said. I say somewhat because, like I said, the old guard is still kind of there. It's just that some of them are leaving and, you know. Like I said, Rebecca's been here since the beginning as well as Steve, so I wouldn't exactly call her a new face. It has nothing to, you know, that has no idea what the game is about. I trust her judgment, but the big question, like I said, is what about Soulframe? What will happen here?
Yeah.
DE has in the past attempted to expand beyond Warframe, and I think in the form of a hero shooter that I cannot remember the name of. That game eventually fell through when they canceled it before it ever got off the ground, and they refocused to Warframe. But Soulframe has some potential behind it. Like I said, they're actually devoting manpower to it. And it's been developed, at least somewhat, in part, for a little bit now. In fact, the name was trademarked, I think, for at least a year or two now. And people were actually wondering, I remember, when it first broke that they trademarked the name, like, what is this like? Is this Warframe 2? What is it? Well, in basically the current devs' words, it'll basically be like a sister game to Warframe. Nothing to do with the game canonically or anything else, but like it'll share the same DNA, so to speak.
Yes.
You're strong. That was too easy.
You fool. Which queen?
I want the just give it to me.
It did seem too easy, didn't it?
Yeah, they're all looking at you like, yeah, the warlock fell for the chest, didn't he?
Yeah, I know. I want my shiny. Give it to me. I mean, we get tetherbound anyway, so whatever.
Oh yeah. But yeah, there's that. And there's Warframe news for you, and the up and coming, soon to be Soulframe.
Yep, but like I said, there's a lot of. I think I want to have this a little bit of a full discussion here. I kind of had to shelve it because I had to focus a little bit on fighting, so I didn't die. As you see throughout that gameplay, I died quite often, so I wanted to be more focused in that fight.
This isn't Norm.
Not entirely, depending on the
No,
quantity of news
you yourself will constantly say, warlocks are just glass cannons.
Yeah, no, that is true. I do say that a lot, and I stand by that claim.
Mm.
I mean, with Devour, we can tank somewhat nowadays, but only with Devour active and stuff like that. It's a very situational thing. But regardless, so about the whole Warframe situation, right? I mulled it over on the weekend. It really will depend on a few things. Like I said, this is a game that they're really passionate about and they really want to see get off the ground, unlike their last attempt at a game, which was more of a cash-in on the hero shooter franchise. So, is Warframe going to get canceled? Let's start with that first.
Probably not, no.
No, never. I say this because of this reason. Warframe is successful and makes a ton of money. I mean, they have an entire convention for it, for pity's sake, and they've been doing this since 2013. Obviously, it's successful if they've been doing it this long.
Yeah. Yep.
So they've got way more right than they've gotten wrong. Plus, let's think about, and that's a business standpoint, right? Money-wise, it makes no sense from a business standpoint. Not convinced? Let's look about this from a more technical standpoint. As previously mentioned in the show, they're currently in the process of integrating cross-save, cross-play, and a whole new outlet for the game in the form of a mobile version which will share in all of this featurality. You would not go to that length on a game you're going to cancel anytime soon. It is a technical nightmare to implement cross-save and cross-play, as evidenced by why they're taking their time. And then there's, like I said, the mobile version on top of that, which a whole other list of nightmares.
Yeah, there's a couple problems here and there.
You'd basically be telling your team, hey, do this entire massive project that'll take years, only for the next year the entire game to get canned. Technical-wise, it would be a massive waste of time and resources. Why bother going to that trouble on a game you don't intend to stick around for another long time?
Yeah. Well, no, it's kind of like the same thing with Destiny, where it's like, when Destiny came out, they had a 10-year plan. And although that 10 years are nearly up, I'm pretty damn sure that the last, like, two more expansions, they have very well thought out, planned, and are organizing right now. So it doesn't really make sense for Destiny 2 to at least die anytime soon, at least.
Yeah, they said this is the end of the Light and Darkness saga for Destiny, and this is the end of that era of Destiny.
Yeah.
It's in the same boat as Warframe. It's massively successful and massively profitable.
Yes.
Destroying it would make zero sense from any perspective. So is Warframe going to get canceled? No. We're fine on that level. Now, about that second one, though. Is Warframe going to get put on the back burner? This one... Actually, I can't say one way or the other. It will depend on several factors. Number one, what is Soulframe exactly? At this point, we have an official trailer that's been bouncing around the web. IGM has already put it up. It's already up on Warframe's, or DE's official pages and stuff like that, so you can see it. And the website's officially up, and you can start, looking into it and stuff like that. And they've even promised in that stream that they would have a working version of it, kind of like the way they did with Warframe way back in the day, that there'd be an official version of the game for really early adopters that want to support the game that's going to be some version of running by the end of the year. So it's already got some meat on the bone already. So it is something they're putting time into and effort into. But again, what kind of game is this? Is this a single-player game? Is this going to be like your God of War, your Spider-Man, your Ratchet and Clank, where it's a one-off? If that's the case, then no, they're not putting Warframe on the back burner. At least not entirely. Maybe they might shift some of their development team to the game at first to get it all running. But once most of the content's done and stuff like that, they'll shove it out the door. Once it gets finished, maybe put a few updates, maybe some DLC here and there, who knows? And then that would be it. They'd focus their team back on Warframe, and the development team would do whatever the hell they'll do next. Who knows? Maybe their next game. DE has a long history before Warframe and after Warframe of taking side projects to basically pay the bills while Warframe was being developed, and before. So it wouldn't surprise me if they start taking side projects to keep the lights going. as a bit of extra income. They certainly got the talent for it. Now, if it's a live service game, however, then maybe. Again, it depends on, number one, how successful Soulframe is, and number two, do they have the ability to make it 2 live service games? Think about it. A live service game is a massive pool of resources you have to constantly be investing in. It's a massive money sink. It's a massive resource sink. And it's a sink without a bottom, hypothetically. You have to constantly be shoveling money. You have to constantly be shoveling in time and resources and staff. DE's a big studio, right? But even the biggest studios rarely have more than 1 live service going at a time. And if they do, they're on a much smaller scale than any massive AAA game. A game the size of Warframe, a game the size of Destiny, they are massive and take a massive amount of time and energy and money to keep going. To have 2 live service games up at the same time,
yeah,
would be massively demanding in terms of studio.
Well, studio, server, like, there's a lot of tech related in general. So.
And also from a financial standpoint as well. You'd have to constantly keep that going. You'd have to constantly pay for writers to make new content. You'd have to pay for new, voice actors to do new lines for that new content. Yada, yada, yada. The list goes on and on and on. So, it really depends. Is DE big enough to support that? Maybe. And if that does end up being the case, will Warframe get put on the back burner? Again, that is also very situational. It also depends on, like I said, how successful Soulframe is. If it's mediocre success, they might focus entirely more on Warframe, but they'll keep Soulframe going. DE's passionate about the project, so I don't see them canceling it just because of mediocre sales, at least at first. But judging by the fact they say they'll have a playable version of the game to some degree at the end of the year already for people who are early adopters, it might be a live service game or some form of it.
Yeah.
Maybe on a much smaller scale, though.
It'll probably start off like a small little niche type of thing, and it might build up depending on what happens.
Mm-hmm. So, will Warframe get put on the back burner?
No.
I honestly can't say one way or the other. I want to say no, because again, that would take away from Warframe's success, which, wouldn't do them any good, considering right now it's their only real source of income. But, again, it depends on how successful Soulframe is, what the genre of Soulframe is, what the scope of Soulframe is, a bunch of things. And also, how big DE is. I mean, they even said in the live stream before they announced all this stuff that they have been growing. So could that be a hint at their studio being big enough to now support 2 live service games at the same time? Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe.
So, who knows? Maybe they'll be able to devote time to each of them equally. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
there's also one other thing I'd like to stick in that I actually forgot until the end.
Yes.
They announced that they are making the Warframe that has long been requested, which is a werewolf-based frame, or a wolf-based frame. And they've actually got legendary comic book writer Joe Madison, or Joe Mad, I believe his pen name is. At least I believe his full name is Joe Madison. I know his pen name is Joe Mad, to actually personally design the thing himself.
Interesting.
And DE is also helping him with his own MMO, apparently. He and his studio are also apparently doing...
so this is kind of like a payment commission type thing as well.
Yeah, like I said,
you help
they've
us,
done
we
work
help you.
Kind of. Apparently he's also one of the earliest supporters of Warframe. He has apparently the old Excalibur Prime that only was given out to, basically the people who bought the Founders Pack for Warframe way back on Steam. Way back in the day, so...
There you go.
Who knows? But,
There's obviously much to look forward to when it comes to Warframe, and players really shouldn't be worried about, their game ceasing development. If anything, if it's a link to Warframe, if Soulframe is going to be an extension to Warframe, then if anything, this is kind of a good thing for Warframe because it means, in a way, more content and like, obviously Warframe's big enough where they're wanting to branch out with it even more.
It is certainly a thing that is, I wouldn't say on the scope of, I wouldn't say at the size of Destiny, but it certainly has the appeal that kind of like what Bungie's done, where they basically, Bungie had a similar issue in the past. Well, I wouldn't say issue, but they had a similar bit in the past where the two big creative director and game designers and stuff like that, those two, I can't remember their official roles, but basically they were the big heads of Bungie. One of them was like, I think like I said, the game director. They, instead of moving to another project, moved up. Yeah. And their positions were left vacant for someone else. The reason was a bit different, though. Instead of moving to another game, they actually took the idea of Destiny and wanted to now make it a multimedia thing. So instead of just managing Destiny as a game, they were promoted to managing Destiny as a franchise at that point. Games, books, movies, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Destiny, at least on that point, certainly has the lore, backstory, and ability to do that kind of thing. So, and Destiny since then hasn't changed all that much.
Not too much, no.
But like I said, on the case of Warframe, will it get killed off? No. It's making way too much money, and they're putting way too much effort in it, even nowadays, as we speak, to can it anytime soon. Yeah. Makes zero sense. Will it get put on the back?
There's too much of an investment for the next while that it does not make sense to get rid of it.
Yep. Will it get put on the back burner? Again, like I said, it depends on a lot of factors. I want to say no, but that's just, in many ways, I won't lie, wishful thinking on my part. I truly do not know.
Yeah.
My honest answer is we'll have to wait and see. It depends on, like I said, many things. What's the scope? What's the success rate? That kind of thing.
Yeah. But in the short term, don't worry about it.
Yeah, in the short term, don't worry about it.
Yep. All right. Well, that's kind of been our news, hasn't it?
Yep. That's TennoCon wrapped up in a nutshell. I admit it's a bit more rushed than usual. I hope it was understandable.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, for one, we do things a little more condensed. I'm willing to bet TennoCon was a good couple hours rather than less than an hour.
Yeah, it was from... So I attended it personally or digitally, and it was from like 12 to 5 or possibly, I think it was like 12 to 7, 12 to 5. So
there's a lot more going on there, and we can only go and talk about so much in a single hour.
Within the span of like an hour, yeah. And for those who are curious, the whole con, or at least the after video of the whole thing, is linked in the description if you want to see it. Like I said, it's several hours, so if you want to step down for the whole thing, set aside some time. But for your convenience, I've also set down links to Veilbreaker as well as the Deviri demo trailer that they did live, so you can see what that's all about in their own words and in their kind of thing if you want to just see that as is. And those are about only like 5 to, in the case of Veilbreaker, I think like 5 minutes, and in the case of the full demo for Deviri was like 20 minutes, so much less of a time investment, so don't worry. Yep. We have more condensed versions down there.
Yeah. It's all for your viewing experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
and that wraps it up.
Besides that, hopefully you all enjoyed and got your little tidbit for news. Again, next week and the following week, 27th and 23rd of this month of this release for what you're watching right now, I am not going to be around, so expect just small little videos of me and Nick. We're just going to be running around in Destiny, which we recorded earlier today. So,
which is why we're in Destiny.
Yep. So there's that for you. It's all... you will have content to watch for the next 2 weeks. Do not worry. It's just one of them will have a little bit of news. The other is just us playing and having fun.
Yeah, we don't intend to break our nice little trend that we have going over the last year since we started.
Yeah, if anything, at least always expect something once every Wednesday. We will always try to have something every Wednesday. So, there you go.
Lest the YouTube algorithm punish us.
May it be punishing.
May Google have mercy on our digital souls.
Yes. May you have mercy.
beg for forgiveness at the altar of the G.
Also, I just want to look at something. June's next month, correct?
June was last month. This is July we're in. You're off by a month.
Well, no. Yeah, it is. Okay. So then I guess, yeah, we missed our year anniversary type thing.
We
just
we
realized.
did. It kind of passed, and I never really brought it up. But it's like, yeah.
I'm
We
looking
gotta
at,
make a
our past
video.
videos, and our very first video was on June 23rd, and I'm like,
Gotta have like a retroactive anniversary now that you brought it up.
we can do that another time. Right now,
Yeah, another
that's
time
been
later.
our news for this week. You've got content for the next 2 weeks, so don't you fear. And we will be back on, I believe, we will have a proper...
August.
Yeah, we will be back properly for a proper stream on
August
the 10th.
10th?
Yeah, on the 10th. So expect regular stream and news and everything that you would come to expect on this channel on the 10th. And until then, we will see you around.
Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed the news. And if you don't play Warframe, I encourage it. It's actually a very fun game.
Yes.
I'm not paid to say that. I'm just saying it.
Yet.
Though if I am paid, it would be nice if I was paid.
Yes.
I'll take the money.
Hook me up.
Look me. Yeah, DE, hook me up. But yep. Bye bye all. Have a good one.